SCP Parabellum, one of the newest updates that has been recently released on the private SCP Secret Laboratory beta servers, where SCP-173 has been transformed from the lovable cute little peanut that we once knew him as to the mutated, mutinous mass of 173 that is now the Walnut, also known as Matthew. Now, as the appearance of the SCP-173 has changed, also has his game mechanics. So, with the old 173, whenever he took damage, he got faster and faster, making him stronger, more capable. In blackouts, he was overpowered as hell. He could snap everyone in like 4 seconds. My best kill was like 5 or 6 kills in the course of like 3 seconds. Just snap, 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 snap. But now with the new 173, the game mechanics for him have completely changed. The strategies have completely changed. His weaknesses, his strengths, they're semi-similar and stuff, but overall, 173 has been completely reworked. And today I will be going into a full analysis explaining all the new game mechanics, how to use them, what are the differences, the strengths, the weaknesses, etc. Everything you need to know about SCP-173 and the Parabellum update. First off, let's simplify things. SCP-173 with the rework has 4 basic abilities: Breakneck Speeds, Reinforced Concrete, Blink, and Tantrum. The easiest one to explain is Reinforced Concrete. Reinforced Concrete, as it states here, accept their gaze of admiration, but stand your ground against the vandalism. You have built in resistance to gunfire. Low penetration weapons deal significantly less damage compared to piercing weaponry. This basically means you have an HP bar now. 173 now has basically a shield around him that helps keep him safe, protect him, and it will recharge. The one issue is the recharge on the HP is extremely, incredibly, extraordinarily slow. It's slower than 096's by easily 10 to 20 times. That is something that I believe that they should buff, that they should change and make it a little bit faster, and they may actually add that in the future, as this is still a beta. But basically, the Reinforced Concrete means piercing guns, bullets that have bullet penetration, that is also good for being used on armor for like the Chaos and stuff. Those type of guns are better than bullets that are just for basic surface damage and such. So, for MTF, if you want to counter SCP-173, you want to go for bullet penetration and flashlights. Flashlights to render him to move less, and the bullet penetration to get through this shield of armor very, very quickly. Though really, all you need is a large force to just open fire, and he will be vaporized within seconds. Moving on to an ability that isn't passive, but actually something that you can activate. So, Breakneck Speeds. This ability you will find yourself using quite a lot, and can be very helpful, especially when wanting to catch up to someone. So, as it states, no matter where they hide, you will find them in little time, and they will see you for less. Double your movement speed and blink distance, at the cost of your lethality. Lasts until shortly after being witnessed or cancelled manually. So this basically means you can speed yourself up as fast as the old Peanut, basically when he's on a little bit of low health, and you can also go at double the distance when using your blink ability, which I will get to after this one. So this means that you can zoom around the facility faster, find people faster, but it also means you cannot kill them. You can no longer snap their neck while using this ability, so you need to make sure that you cancel it when you have approached the person. So basically zoom up, sneak up behind them like so, and then cancel it, and then snap their neck. That is what you want to do. So it'll take a bit of getting used to, a bit of rhythm work, but once you have the handle on it, you should be good to go. And the last important thing is the Breakneck Speeds actually does have a cooldown timer. This here is the cooldown timer. They may be changing it though and making it a little bit less. I do believe that they should make the Breakneck Speeds at least a little bit less timer. They've really basically made it so 173 is not as overpowered, even though he's got all these overpowered abilities. He actually has time limits on them. Now moving on to the Blink ability. As it states, once they lay eyes on you, make them regret breaking sight, even for a moment. When the eye turns crimson, hold and move the indicator to a desired location, release to teleport, and kill the nearest human within 2 meters. So this is very, very important. The wording here is very important as well, and I will explain why. Basically, when someone is looking at you, you press and hold on right click. This will give you basically 3D model version of yourself appearing on your screen, where you will move your mouse to control where to place it. Then you place it next to a player, whether it be a scientist, D-class, whatever, MTF, and once you teleport on top of them or right next to them, you will then automatically snap and break their neck. This is extremely useful to use, but the one issue is you can only kill the nearest person. This means it only kills one person at a time per blink. And for every person that looks at you, your blink timer increases. This makes this ability actually Good and bad. Terrible for large person situations, but amazing when going on 1 kill or a group of 2 or even 3 it's really good for. But anything more than a group of 3, you're pretty much screwed as 173. You cannot fight a group like that alone, pretty much, without losing some health. So the blink ability, I definitely think that they should make the timer for the blink either have a cap or make it more efficient, because currently right now when people are looking at you, it refreshes your timer and increases it more and more as more people look at you, and so if you get caught by a large squad or something, you're absolutely screwed. I know that's supposed to be like that, and that's that way, and it's designed for that, but at the same time, I feel like the timer isn't perfected yet. Like, it is insane how quickly that they can drop you from having 1000 HP and 2000 HP to 0. It literally takes like 5 to 10 seconds and you're just dead instantly. Moving on to the final ability of the new SCP-173, and that is the Tantrum Ability, one of the biggest changes to SCP-173. This is something that the other one didn't even close to have. So the Tantrum Ability. Let them know your fury. Create a pool of filth underneath you that stains and greatly inhibits the mobility of humans who pass through it. Killing stained humans will recover some of your Hume shield. This ability is 100% a support ability, and can only be used when people aren't looking at you. Therefore, it's great for setting up ambush spots and planning ahead. You need to actually think about where you want to place these. So, to use Tantrum, of course you just press F, and it will create this pool of filth on the ground that will then make any player that walks over it unable to sprint, and makes them slightly slower. It's kind of like SCP-106's puddle that is in light containment. It makes you basically extremely slow and unable to sprint. It'll also have a key sound effect, and it is very, very visual. It can also get on players' legs and stuff when they die in it, which I find quite cool that they've added that in. Now, the Tantrum you want to play strategically and play with your SCPs with. For example, you want to place it out of 914, maybe outside of Gate B, maybe at a choke point, maybe you want to place a few of them, because there is a cooldown to it, but you can have multiple of them on the map at the same time. I think I've currently maintained 5 or 6 of them at the exact same time on the map at one period of time, and it is very helpful to have them at all these key locations or choke points, so that you can make it so players can't easily escape you or the rest of your team. This also means teaming up with any SCP, especially like 939 or an 049-2, is extremely overpowered, because then they can now outrun the player, making the player unable to escape their clutches, and they will die quite quickly. So overall, SCP-173 has definitely changed for the better. He is now an SCP that you don't want to Tesla gate. He is now an SCP that you don't want to get caught in a Tesla gate with, which I have actually done before and literally deep-fried a 173 by just looking at him while he was standing in the Tesla gate. Like, he died to just being looked at. He is an SCP that you now actually have to play much more skill-based wise. He is an SCP that has a lot more control for the player now, and a lot more planning and thought process goes into it, which is very important and I love about it. It is now SCP that you actually have to play a few times to get used to, and once you do though, it is extremely amazing. I love it so much more than the old SCP-173. Like, I love the old SCP-173, but the new Matthew, the new Walnut, he is absolutely incredible to play as. I've had a blast playing him. I've played him 3 times now. I played him twice. One video's already been out, one's on stream, and I have another video coming out tomorrow from some gameplay that you might see today in this video. So SCP-173 is not a tank, but still a support unit. He can bullet tank a little bit, bullet sponge a bit at the beginning, but he cannot fight crowds alone. You want to work with your team as the SCP-173, you want to work together, and he is an SCP you need to play a few times to get the hang of. I'd like to leave you off with one final bonus tip before ending the video. Now, this is something that I have just recently figured out. So, 173, his current movement speed, his basic movement speed, where he can actually still snap your neck and he's not sprinting, is just slightly faster than your normal movement speed. But his teleport is extremely long now. He can teleport extremely far, like an entire hallway length, sometimes even 2. This means that if you have him chasing you, you may want to look at him for a couple seconds, run away backwards, and then turn around and start sprinting before he teleports towards you, because that means he will actually move slower. His teleport is actually faster than his normal running speed in a lot of cases and scenarios, unless there are a lot of people looking at him at one time. So if you are solo, it's actually better to run away from him and close doors. He can't actually catch up to you if you run and close doors. So if you're in entrance trying to escape it, and you're trying to get to a gate and get away, basically look back at him, run, close the door, and then just sprint away. He's not fast enough to catch up to you. I hope this explanation and analysis video has helped you, so that when you do get SCP-173, or when the update does become public to everyone, and everyone can play him and have a chance to play him, that it helps you, and so that way you'll be able to play him well, or even at least know what you're doing. Because, trust me, the first time I played him, it took me a bit of getting used to. By the second time, I figured it all out, basically, but it takes some getting used to play him. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate the support on yesterday's stream. I really appreciate the support you guys have been giving the channel. I love you guys a lot. I hope if you enjoyed today's video or found it useful at all, that you'll leave a like, subscribe to the channel, check out ShortStalker28, and so on and so forth. I hope to see you guys all next time, but bye for now.